Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mecha Rewatch. I'm Cossack11, and with me, as always, is my friend Lawn Dragon.
Hi.
And we're going over episodes 20 and 21 of Gundam Wing. We haven't hit the recap episode yet.
No.
But there is one soon. It's got to be within, the next 4 episodes?
Yeah, probably. Halfway through.
Something like that. Anyhow, we get a lot of, recap explanation, though, at the beginning of... I think it's part of why... Because you said the episode 20 felt kind of fast. I think that's because, a solid 3 to 4 minutes of the beginning of the episode was literally just covering all of the shit that had come up to that point. Which was not a bad thing, necessarily. If you're watching this, week to week...
Yeah, you need a recap to remember what happened.
Yeah, because some of that stuff happened a month ago.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than that. And you're watching other shows and
speaking of how long ago things happened, time is a weird thing in this show.
Yeah.
It really seems like there are large periods of time passing in universe that are just not being acknowledged. Because, stuff happens and people are in positions and stuff. It's that took time. That can't be just the next thing that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and they don't... It would be easier if they, had even just a little, text blurb saying the date.
That would be nice, yeah.
But they don't.
Begin us with Captain's Log, Stardate 36847.1.
I wonder if the, manga redux that has apparently either come out or, is in the works or is, partway through being made right now. I don't remember. Because I know they're doing, a kind of...
Yeah.
Not necessarily remaster, I guess a rewrite, sort of, in manga form.
Yeah. Well, because it's interesting. Because I say that, right? There's things in this episode in particular that seem like they took a long time to happen. But then there are other things, particularly in the next episode, that can't have taken a long time to happen.
Right.
There's no way... Because we saw Zex lift off last episode, and he arrives at his destination next episode... And he wasn't floating around for months, surely.
But then they act like Ketra had been floating around for months.
Kinda. Well, was he... I don't know. If he was unconscious for months, he'd be dead.
Well, that's true. But, anyway.
But the building of these mobile suits and stuff...
Yeah, that's
and the politics of the colonies and stuff, this can't all be happening this fast.
Yeah.
Because they act like things have been... existing, because they talk about finally bringing peace to the colonies, and it's well, the peace of the colonies was only disrupted about 20 minutes ago. Yeah. What's the problem?
Yeah, it's confusing. I mean, it's part of why a lot of people don't like Gundam Wing.
Yeah, it's part of also it's just this era of writing and animation and stuff, right? Is there's just not a lot of care put into this kind of stuff.
Well, yeah. So anyway, after all that opening exposition, we cut to Dudo and Hiro planning to infiltrate Luna Base because they hear that Oz is working on a weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
A weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Yes, literally.
And they're either gonna take it or destroy it. Hiro is I'm either going to... Literally says, I'm either going to steal it or destroy it.
Yeah.
And I'm so you're going to try and destroy it and then end up stealing it anyway.
Yeah.
That's not quite what happens, but it's close.
No, he does literally try to... The first thing he does is try to destroy one.
Yeah.
And then they steal one.
But it's not stolen yet.
They don't really steal them. That's fair.
It's not stolen yet. It's still
they're getting around to the stealing.
We're getting around to it. We're working our way towards the theft plan now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, that anytime Hiro is presented with the two options, destroy and steal, he is going to start with destroy and end up with steal because he just can't destroy anything.
Yeah, it turns out theft is easier.
And also Hiro's just bad at demolition work.
A lot of people are bad at demolition work in this show. That comes up in this episode.
Yeah, that comes up a couple times in this episode.
Yeah.
And Hiro is only one of those times. But the people Hito influences to do demolition work also. Look, they learned from a master at failing at blowing things up.
Yeah.
So notably, we cut pretty quickly from that. Oh, that's right. This is also where Hito reveals to Duo that he used Duo's name to enroll in school because Duo's like
Duo is stuck in the hospital.
Yeah.
Right. He's injured.
Mm-hmm.
Hiro's gonna go do this infiltration, and he wants to come with. He says no. He says, "Oh, well, why don't you go to school in my stead? Because I'm not gonna be able to. And the enrollment should be really easy. It's already in your name."
Yeah. And Duo's like, what?
Why? Why would you use my name?
And then he's like, oh, of course you would.
Which is funny, because later we will find out that, like, the entirety of Oz is looking for the war criminal Duo Maxwell.
Yeah.
Who is just enrolled at this school and no one's checked.
Yeah. We'll find out later this episode, in fact.
Yeah.
Because, so after that, then it cuts to Luna Base. Oh, notably, we get some more exposition.
We get some exposition about what's been going on the moon.
Yeah.
So, notably, okay, couple of things with the moon. So it was like some kind of manufacturing thing, and then they allowed tourism. We get a line that it was difficult for humans to live on the moon, as if it's somehow not difficult to live in the void of space.
Yeah,
which they both seem equally hard. I don't think one's particularly more difficult.
I would argue that the living in the vacuum of space is harder because you have to build more infrastructure to support it. The moon has foundation, like,
I guess.
Foundations, like, you don't have to build an extra wall. You've got a floor.
Sure. Yes, you get, like, land and stuff, which is actually, like, harder.
Yeah.
Technically. I mean, not for these people, really, but in general,
that's true.
Building the space station is arguably easier than building a moon colony. Like, okay.
That's fair enough.
But it's so close as to be not worth mentioning, right? They're both atmosphereless hard vacuum.
Yeah,
like,
they're atmosphereless hard vacuum.
They're both the most hostile environment you could possibly imagine. Just
literally, there is no more hostile environment than that.
The depths of the ocean are not more hostile. Hard vacuum sucks.
The molten core of the Earth is less hostile than hard
vacuum.
Arguably,
yeah. Like...
But we've never even made it that far. Like, we haven't even made it through the crust.
It's easier to get to space. But...
Yeah, so...
But yeah, so anyway, so the moon was like this manufacturing thing, and then got opened up to tourism.
And became Space Vegas.
I don't know what they were... Tourist... Just to look at the moon, I guess?
I think to look at Earth from the moon.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, honestly...
Because they say it's particularly popular with tourists from Earth.
Right,
like, the people from the colonies aren't going to the moon. Because they could just look out the, like...
Well, so this is what I was about to get to, is apparently the moon also doesn't count as the colonies.
No.
Right? Like it's separate. I guess because it's not as far. I guess it was still within Earth's, like, purview. Yeah. The colonies seem to be further than that. The colonies seem to be actually out, like, in the asteroid belt or something.
Yeah, they don't ever really mention where any of these colonies are in relation to Earth. So
they mentioned Duos. Wasn't it supposed to be near the moon, though?
Yeah, Duos is near the moon, so at least one is near the moon.
It makes no sense.
But what do they mean by near? Because depending on how advanced their interstellar travel technology is, near and far are...
Sure, but it's going to be... In the context he was talking about, it must be nearer to the moon than the Earth.
Yeah.
So it can't be that far from the moon before it would be a negligible difference.
Yeah, or by process of elimination, the Earth.
Yeah.
So we know where Duos is. The rest, it's nebulous.
Yeah. Maybe Duo refers to a different moon as the moon. Maybe his culture is weird.
Maybe he thinks Pluto is a moon.
Maybe he thinks Pluto's the moon. Maybe his colony is near Titan, but they just call Titan the moon.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, like, world building was not a priority for these people.
No, no, it was not. So, after that exposition, we cut to the dubious Doctor Squad. Working on the weapons, as they have decided not to make
one, but two.
Yes, they have made 2 weapons to surpass Metal Gear.
Specifically made a shield that can block anything and a gun that can't fail to kill the target.
Yeah.
Which
that can destroy any target. Yeah.
The immediate question being, well, so which wins? This is playground rules now. Which one wins?
Yeah.
And a character in the show has the same question.
Lady On asks later on which one will win. Because notably, the Dubious Doctor Squad is just talking about, like, they're shit-talking Oz.
They're shit-talking Oz. They're like, we're going to finish this because we don't want to work for Oz forever. As if they don't think they'll be, like, killed after completing the project.
Or put in an R&D gulag and then brought out again to make another super advanced weapon for Oz.
I don't know. Whatever.
I'm sure a lot of Russian aviation pioneers were all during the battle.
Yeah, we're all like, let's finish this so that we don't have to work anymore. That's how research prison works.
Yeah, that's how R&D gulags work. Look it up. This is the actual thing for those of you who don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. So then we cut to a bunch of colony councilmen.
Yep.
Who are deliberating about the fact that Oz, because you've got two sides here essentially. You've got one side that is saying Oz is great. They got rid of the Alliance. We're not under Alliance oppression anymore. Like, we should just let Oz kind of take over.
Yeah.
And the other side being like, no, we're out of Alliance oppression. We should make our own state and do our own thing. And someone's like, well, they mention a few other things. The biggest thing they mention here, though, is that Oz, they mention that Oz is going to essentially let them be their own state. That's the counterpoint.
Yeah.
And then they say, however, and then one guy raises a concern because Oz has dictated that they shall make military equipment.
Yeah. That will be their main industry. And it's like, I don't think you're letting people live free if you're dictating what industry that they are and, like, giving them a 5-year plan.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what they're doing.
Or some sort of quota or whatever. Like, no.
It's weird because they're nationalizing the industry of a technically other nation.
Yeah, essentially.
When Oz isn't actually a nation either.
No, it's not.
It's like if Blackwater nationalized Well, yeah,
it would be like if Blackwater freed Puerto Rico from U.S. control and then demanded that Puerto Rico make weapons for them.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's exactly, precisely. We have liberated you, Puerto Rico, and now the only thing we ask in return for this is that we demand you convert all of your
industry to weapons manufacture
and development.
And Puerto Rico is debating about whether or not they should be like a free Puerto Rican nation or part of the nation of Blackwater. That's what's happening here.
Meanwhile, Blackwater isn't a nation.
No.
And the big empire that...
Oh, and Blackwater is also claiming to, control the United States. Right.
Yeah, right.
After having launched some sort of coup that kind of worked. It gets... The metaphor breaks down a little.
Yeah.
But...
Well, no, the metaphor is Blackwater is working for the Illuminati.
Yes.
To control the United States.
The
shadow government.
Works great, actually.
Oh, goodness. What a circus show. Anyway, nothing really comes of this discussion. It basically... They use this as a springboard. It's just exposition. It's exposition, but also they use it as a springboard to go into Lady On and one of her Chill Lady On, notably, and one of her officers discussing these decisions, and we get a little bit of extra philosophy from Chill Lady On, which is that even though she's chill, she is still at the end of the day a fascist.
It's true. Yeah, she says we're going to bring the colonies the one thing they need, and her driver kind of looks at her and is like, what's that? And my immediate thought was, food? Medical supplies, maybe? They live in space. And then she goes, law and order. And it's
proper order, I think is what she actually says. Something like that. Yeah, you're just... proper order.
Yeah. Turns out you can take the evil glasses-wearing murderer out of the fascist. You can't take the fascist out of the...
Evil glasses-wearing murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh goodness, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So
More
notably
on that character later, by the way.
Well, also, Chill Lady notably talks about how the humanity's will to fight.
Yeah, she gives this speech about how, like, humanity is admirable, and shouldn't we also, like, all of the pacifists are ignoring that humanity has the admirable will to fight.
And that by ignoring it, they are dishonoring humanity itself.
Right. And, like, first of all, ma'am, you don't have to murder people to fight. I mean, these people fight every day they live in space, right?
Yeah, they're fighting space.
Yeah, they're fighting, like, God himself who have decreed that you should not live here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And they're verbally fighting each other all the time.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Just woman just needs a debate team.
Yeah, exactly. She just never had a debate team at her high school.
Yeah. But they... Yeah, she philosophizes. It's a little odd. And then again is like, also, we need to, like, establish a police state.
Yeah.
Which seems to contradict the admiring the humanity's will to fight.
Yeah.
I would think. Surely they will use that will to fight your police state?
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess is technically Trace's plan, so there we go, it all works out.
Yeah, I guess it all shakes out.
Maybe that's why he brainwashed Lady on. I assume he brainwashed Lady.
Maybe. So then we cut to Sally Poe. Remember Sally Poe?
Remember Sally Poe? She's been in this show occasionally.
Yeah, we haven't seen her in a while, but she's in the process of blowing up Sandrock, or attempting to blow up Sandrock.
Attempting to. She thinks she's blowing up Sandrock.
As Hiro Yui intended.
Well, as Ketra Reberber Winner intended.
Yeah.
Because apparently these self-destruct devices just don't work.
Yeah, and notably, well, they don't work enough to prevent Oz from just rebuilding them. Because notably, Sandrock has been rebuilt.
Yes, they do mention that Oz has, like, been restoring it.
And notably, Lady Un has not Lady Un, sorry, Sally Poe has run into some other familiar faces.
They do look kind of similar.
Yeah, they do. Which is probably why I made that mistake.
The animators can draw, like, 2 female faces.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And she runs into the Magnaut Corps, who would prefer that she not blow up.
Who prefer that she not blow up the mech that they're trying to recover for Ketra.
Yeah.
And they have a discussion about it, but not like a cohesive discussion.
No,
neither one just can say what they mean.
What their allegiances are or why they're there.
Yeah. And
so then she blows it up and fails.
This is why every time I enter a room, I loudly declare exactly whose side I'm on and what I'm trying to do. Just in case someone else is trying to do the exact same thing for the exact same side, we don't step on each other's toes.
Yeah. Look, when you're infiltrating a place to do, a thing, you make sure that all the other people who are also infiltrating
the place know why you're infiltrating and what you're trying to do, so you don't stop each other accidentally.
Yeah.
Notably, Troa Barton is a master of this tactic.
He is.
As we will find out next episode.
Troa Barton is, like, the best infiltrator out of all of these
people. Sure is.
And he knows how... He infiltrated
the circus. He infiltrated... Well, he's infiltrating Oz, as we're about to find out.
Well, and notably, he knows how to play the long game.
True.
Because Hiro could never infiltrate anywhere, because as soon as he saw a juicy target to attempt to blow up or steal, he would do one of those two things.
He infiltrates various learning institutions regularly.
That's true. Hiro Yui is exceptional at infiltrating learning institutions.
He's infiltrated, what, like 4 schools now?
3 at least.
3 on Earth and 1 in the colonies?
3 at least, total. I don't know if it's 4. I don't remember how many on Earth he infiltrated.
I thought it was 3 on Earth, but it might only have been 2 on Earth.
Look, Hiro is a master of infiltrating schools.
Yeah. He just looks like a student.
He does.
He doesn't.
He does not.
No. No. So
her attempt to blow Sandrock up fails. So then she decides to assist the
Well,
Magnac
we get a
Corps.
little more than that, because she's also like, I don't care if I die. I'm going to blow up this thing, and it's going to take all of us with... Like, she kills all. And then she hits the button. Like, which, good on you, Sally Poe, right? Don't screw around. Just hit the button. Like,
yeah, no, she just hits the button.
And then it doesn't work because the Gundam is made of Gundanium. And it does no damage.
Yeah, it does no damage. And
she's like, well, that sucks, but I am impressed by the Gundam.
And then the Magnac Corps is like, oh, thank God. She didn't destroy Ketra's Gundam.
And she runs and gets a mobile suit, presumably to try to destroy Sandrock. It seems at first like she's like, I'm going to get a mobile suit because that's a thing with a weapon that can harm Sandrock.
Right. And meanwhile...
the Magnac Corps loads it up on a truck. And then, also Oz scrambles the mobile suits because they heard the explosion, and she shoots all their mobile suits in the back.
Yeah, but also she chooses the superior weapon loadout for the Leo.
Or she specifically runs over and is like, I found the cannons.
Yeah.
Because they apparently hang from the ceiling. Which I guess is a decent place to keep. That's a little weird.
It is a little weird. You would think they'd be on like just a giant weapons rack, like a mech-sized weapons rack. So
I think the idea is that they can be lowered down onto the Leo's shoulders.
Right, yeah, because they are shoulder mounted.
Because they're shoulder mounted, so you can like stand your Leo under one, and it can be lowered down on the shoulder.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I think that's the idea.
Well, either way, she has two of them.
Yeah, she gets two.
But she doesn't destroy the Gundam, because by the time that she gets this in motion, the Magnac Corps, who are all like kind of sniping at each other.
They get names.
Yeah.
Abed's plans don't work well. Apparently,
Abdul.
Apparently, Abdul's crazy plans never work out.
They're all like, we don't know why we went along with you on this, Abdul. Yeah. Your plans never go the way they're supposed to. And he goes, shut up! It was hard getting this carrier.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, you stole a carrier.
Yep.
How Gundam pilot of you.
Sure.
Taking a page out of several Gundam pilots books.
Oz really needs to like protect their carriers better, or just put like self-destructs in all of them.
Yeah, like have a kill switch in the control tower.
Remote self-destructs in all their carriers.
Yeah, in the control towers. Yeah, like have the ATC like send a call response. If they don't get the response back, detonate it.
Right.
And there you go.
Or just turn the engines off. You don't have to destroy it.
Yeah. Because then what are they going to do? Crash it into the ground?
Yeah. They don't do that.
Maybe they have it, and maybe they're just like, there's a Gundam in there. Do we want to activate the thing that forces it to land? No, that has a Gundam in there. It'll kill all of us.
Well, but these guys haven't taken off yet, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, they go to take off. Well, I'm saying in the previous instances more than.
But
this one.
They confront Sally. They have this very weird caged conversation about the people we know. The Gundam pilots, but not the same Gundam pilots because they know different Gundam pilots.
And Sally Poe's like, the guy I know would want me to destroy that Gundam.
Yeah.
And the guys are like, well, the guy we know
would not want that to happen.
And she's like, you apparently know a pretty impressive guy. You too. I guess I'll cover your retreat since I happen to be here with the superior weapons loadout for this.
I have two guns, and I've decided I'm not going to fight you, and I'm going to instead fight Oz, and you're going to fly away, and that's the end of the scene.
Yeah. We made that much longer than the scene actually is. It's actually a very
snippy, very tight scene. It's solid.
Yeah. Then we cut to Duo exploring a grungy city at night. Is this on the moon? Is this the moon?
He wasn't supposed to go to the moon.
No, but is he, like, what city is he in? Because it kind of looks like...
I think he's just in whatever colony they were on.
Well,
I think this is just the, like, downtown.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say.
Down colony.
It's tough to say, because this is also the era where every downtown in every city in future times looks like downtown Shinjuku.
It looks like it's very cyberpunk. Like, it's very, you would expect him to, like, sit down and get ramen from a man with a cyber arm. Like,
yeah. And then either, like, don a trench coat
and then be approached by a couple of, like, Asian men who tell them that they're here on behalf of the corporation, and then he beats them up with, like, kung fu.
Yeah.
Like, that's
either
what this
beats
city
them
looks
up with kung fu, or he, like, pulls a sidearm and shoots them through the side of his trench coat.
Or something to that effect, yes. Yeah.
But that's not what's going on, because he rips down a wanted poster, and then we cut immediately...
I thought Hero ripped down that wanted poster.
No, that was Duo.
Okay.
Because we're going to cut back to Duo in this exact spot, pretty much, except like 2 blocks down watching the TVs in the front of a TV store.
That's true. But
Hiro wasn't in the city. That was where the wanted poster was ripped down, was in the city. They don't have him posted around Luna Base. Presumably Luna Base already knows who Most Wanted is.
Okay. Anyway.
And so we cut to the Oz Space Force training. Now, notably, Oz is training a bunch of colony auxiliaries.
Essentially, yes.
If
we're gonna have them build weapons for us, I guess they should be able to use those weapons. No, wait, no, that's not how we're supposed to do this.
Well, notably, they're rolling them into Oz's military.
Yeah.
They're not.
They need new recruits. People have killed a lot of Oz pilots.
Yeah. People that we know have killed a lot of Oz pilots.
We've seen them die on screen. Yeah,
a lot. And it's pretty grim for the recruits.
Well, they say that the things aren't lethal.
They're not. No, it's grim as in the recruits are just that bad.
Yeah, they just suck. Yeah.
Except for one, who is suspiciously good.
Yeah, they're shooting down these like little training space mines. Basically, they have the thing that Luke trains with from A New Hope.
Except it explodes when it hits you.
Except it explodes when it hits you.
Not enough to destroy your mech, but enough to give you a jolt.
Give you a shock.
Yeah.
And yeah, they all miss and get hit, and it sucks. And then they get to the last guy, and the last guy, like, totally...
Cleans house.
And their immediate thought is, like, wow, he's really good. Maybe he's a Gundam pilot. And, like... I mean, he is. But that's still an insane thing to immediately think.
Because the guy immediately is like, trainee number whatever the heck. The number doesn't matter. Please immediately verify your identity.
Which is also weird, because why...
You don't know the identities of any of the Gundam pilots except for maybe 2.
But besides that, you put this man in a mech.
With live ammo.
Why do you not know who he is? Why is that not... Why on your evaluation sheet does it not say Trainee 04 Troa Barton? By the way, he's going by his actual name.
Because Oz doesn't know
nobody knows who Troa Barton is.
Because Troa's been pretty good about his, like, OPSEC and not being in the forefront. Hero's been grabbing enough spotlight for everyone.
The, like, history of Troa Barton, you will find out that he worked for the circus for a bit.
On Earth, yeah.
On Earth, which is a little suspicious, but... You know, presumably they didn't check his work history. He didn't have to provide references.
Actually, if they check his work history, they'll find a discrepancy in something he said.
Yes, because he said he was on the colony, and not.
He said he was on the colony specifically when Lady Un made that threat to blow up the colonies, and he said, "Oh, it was good that Gundam pilot blew himself up because
I would have died."
Yeah, because I couldn't get out of the colony.
This is a much later conversation.
Yeah, but I mean.
But yeah, it's very, like... Yeah, clearly he didn't have to provide a CV.
Notably, yeah, and so... Lady Un is interested, though. Lady Un is like, no.
Lady Un's like, no, maybe he's just actually good. That's fine. Like... Yeah.
Like, no. We want talented pilots.
Yeah.
We don't want to just push them away just because they might be one of the 5 other people who we know are talented pilots.
Right. Do you also think that Trey's Kushranada is a Gundam pilot? Like,
because he beat a Gundam pilot.
Sure did.
Not in his mech, but
but he did.
Did beat a Gundam pilot.
Oh. Do you think that Zax Marquis is a Gundam pilot? Oh well, he is. Shit.
Damn it. Do you think I'm a Gundam pilot?
Do you think I'm a Gundam pilot?
Man, we've seen you pilot something once, and it was to launch yourself at a thing using a catapult.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't really...
We've never seen you and the Gundam pilots in the same room, though. And you already have 2 personalities. What if you have a third?
Anyhow. we're not supposed to talk about that.
Yeah, we apparently just don't talk about that. God, it's about to get weird.
So Duo watches on because notably, Lady Un's like, fine,
one final test to destroy the remains of the Death Scythe.
Yeah, and Troa like really knows how to make a show of this,
right? Because he's like, and then like throws his weapon away, and it's like, he can't do it. He's gonna reveal that he's a Gundam pilot,
and the guy literally is like, "Ha! I got you, you son of a bitch!"
Yeah, and then he's like, "Give me the beam cannon. My assault rifle won't do any damage."
He's like, "This is the Leo standard assault rifle. It has done stone nothing to anything this entire fucking show. Give me the beam cannon."
And then there's this weird, sad scene where he blows up Death Scythe while Duo watches on TV.
Yeah,
and Troa cries. Troa shows an emotion.
Yeah, Troa shows an emotion and doesn't understand that he's feeling sadness.
Right, and the thing that makes this weird is, okay, because there's this thing going on where the Gundams have, like, personalities and are alive. But we haven't really been told that yet. Like, Wu Fei has kind of mentioned it, but he's crazy.
And Sandrock
kind of did a thing for like 2 seconds.
You could argue that the Gundams don't really have true personalities until the Zero system comes into effect.
Well, that's because they kind of don't. But this scene is played like Duo is watching his friend be killed.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, dude, fight it, buddy. I believe in you, man."
Yeah, and even Troa is like upset that he had to, again, as far as we know, destroy a piece of military
that might just
equipment.
be because he destroyed one of Ketra's friends' mobile suits.
Maybe.
Because remember, fair. Ketra was friends with Duo.
Or maybe he thinks Duo's inside it.
Oh,
he might not know.
No, because they got wanted posters for Duo out right
that's
now.
True. That's true.
So,
it's just the kind of thing that would make this make sense is if he thinks he's also killing Duo. Right? Like,
well, maybe, maybe he remembers how close to it, because Duo is much closer to his Gundam than a lot of other pilots are.
The thing is, I think the Gundam pilots, I think, do inherently understand that their Gundams are like, I don't want to say intelligent, but like things to be like a dog, right? It's like killing a dog, right? Yeah. You don't want to kill a dog. It's not that they don't understand this. I understand why he's crying. Yeah. It's that we as an audience really have not been shown a lot of that. They needed to establish that way earlier and way more consistently.
They just needed to establish it, period. They really haven't yet.
Because again, the only people who've talked about it are the crazy man. Right? He just, whenever he mentions that his mech has like rejected him, he sounds crazy. He doesn't sound like he's talking
sound unhinged
about a being that actually doesn't like him. He just sounds unhinged.
Because if an Oz pilot was like, my Ares has rejected me, he would be sectioned.
Right, exactly. It's a tank. What do you do? And I get that people do develop like pair bonds with their, like, especially military equipment, because it saves your life regularly. But it's just not the same as the way they're acting here.
A lot of your waking time doing maintenance on it, training with it. You're with it all the time.
You talk to people who like drive tanks or whatever, they develop an attachment to that vehicle. Right.
Well, I mean, you talk to like saw gunners.
Right, that weapon is,
They'll say in the same breath that they hate it with every fiber of their being, but that they cried when they had to turn it in when they got out of the military.
Right. But at the same time, it's not that this isn't reasonable. It's that the show has not earned this emotional catharsis here.
No.
It needed to.
It has not. Meanwhile, Hiro is busy infiltrating. He's hacked a computer like he does, and has once again pulled up the schematics for a thing and gone, yes, this thing. I will destroy it. It's like, that's code for I will attempt to destroy it, fail, and then steal it.
Yes.
Chill Lady Un meets in person with Troa.
And basically asks him, gives him a job interview, which he's a little late for that. He's in your organization already.
Yeah.
But it's basically a job interview, and this is weird. Because he then basically gives the correct answer. Not the answer he believes, but
Mhm.
that, like, yeah, I like Oz because it's a colonial military force that I can rise through the ranks in.
Yeah,
that is basically what he says.
Basically, it's a shark tank, and I'm one of the
It's
sharks.
a shark tank, and I'm a shark, and this is awesome.
And she's like, wait a minute.
Like,
notably, because this is Chill Lady Un. That's
this is Chill Lady Un. Which, again, because it was Evil Lady Un that said she wanted to meet with him, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's Chill Lady Un who watches the demonstration.
Well,
isn't it? It is. Yeah, it is.
It is, but it was regular Lady Un who gave the... Or it was regular Lady Un who did the loyalty test, though, because Chill Lady Un would not destroy this Gundam for a loyalty test. She wouldn't bother with that.
It does seem out of character for her, but I don't know. Anyway, the point is,
it gets really hard to track Lady Un's personality switches sometimes,
which is weird because visually on screen she's
very different.
But it's just odd.
It's the way the episodes are cut a little bit.
It is. It's a lot of what is confusing here. Like, a lot of what makes this show hard to remember and go through is the way that it is cut. Because it just cuts between very similar scenes where different things are happening, and in keeping track of the order of them and who exactly is doing what in what scene is very challenging sometimes.
It is, which is why we get into these like.
Which is why we get into these like, which character was in this? Who said this exactly?
Yeah. What did they say?
Because like we remember what happened in this scene, but who exactly said exactly what piece of dialogue? Like, it's very again. Part of this is also early animation. Their mouths don't move very much. Mm-hmm. They don't like make things clear. There's very little motion on screen,
right?
And that also again makes things very challenging to follow.
So yeah, he presents himself as a manipulative shark, and
she freaks out. She
has a mental break.
Yeah, she's like, no, that can't be true. Oz is like the reincarnation of Jesus Christ.
She's like, Oz is. She's like broke on a loop. Like,
she's like, that can't be what Oz is like.
And her guys are like, get him out of here, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like, get her out of here.
Yeah, they like evacuate her before she can like
he's like,
have her mind
and
destroyed.
Troa literally is like, what?
Yeah, Troa's like, what just happened?
And they're like, you'll see, you'll understand when Lady Un puts her uniform on, then she'll see you for what you really are. And
it's like,
why should that matter? That does not clarify what I asked at all.
No, it doesn't. But then also Otto pulls a gun on him.
Yeah.
And is like, I'm on to you. Report for further training in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Which is a very way to deliver a very normal order.
Uh-huh. So then, Unchill Lady Un.
Now she puts back her uniform on and becomes arguably more normal. Like, this is the other insane thing about this character, is that, like, the evil, maniacal person who tried to commit colony genocide is the normal one.
Yeah.
Because the other one is, like, just insane about what's going on.
She's, like, she's so completely out of the loop, and her voice actress does her line read so floaty and airy.
She does this very like airheaded, dead-eyed.
It sounds like she's on like either the dankest Kush, 24/7, or she is on like MDMA.
Yeah, it sounds like she is drugged out of her mind and like just spouting like party lines.
Yeah.
In this very, like, airheaded, like...
Yeah.
Which, again, I think is intentional. I don't think this is a mistake.
No. And I don't think this is a bad thing.
But the chill one is the crazy one.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's also this very, like, chill madness to her. Right?
It is.
Like,
she is deeply unsettling at times.
Yes, she's very unsettling. Like, as much as she's the chill, peaceful one, you could absolutely picture her, like, butchering a body while talking about how peaceful it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of crazy she is.
She is the type of person who could, in very calm, collected, and like friendly, overtones talk about humanity's glorious will to fight as she is watching literally people getting lined up against a wall and shot.
Right, yeah. She's very like, she could hold your head underwater and then ask you, aren't I so nice for holding your head underwater so long? Like,
you looked thirsty.
Yeah. Like, she's utterly creepy.
Yeah. Deeply unsettling. Yeah. Anyhow, unchill Lady On.
Yeah, normal Lady On. The nice Lady On. The one we like.
I never thought we would just say that sentence, but you're not wrong.
The one with the evil glare on her glasses who tried to murder millions. The nice one.
who doesn't mask on ever. She's always mask off, which is why she's less unsettling.
She's so much less unsettling. She's just a bad guy, and that's okay. Like, she's still crazy, but she's crazy in a way that you can deal with, right? Yeah. You can negotiate with evil Lady On, as people have frequently.
Well, and as Troa sort of does, as we'll see. Because notably, Lady On introduces Troa to the doctors.
Yes.
And they're
which, if you'll note, at least one doctor here knows who Troa is.
Yeah. And they do a very good job of being like, yes, you're a very sharp pilot.
Yeah.
Clearly, Oz has upped its training or something like that.
Yeah, it's at least one of them knows, Oz done fucked up.
They're like, we got, boys, we got him.
Yeah, it is very like, we have.
And she has them brief everyone on the Mercurius and the Vee.
Yeah, which are big gun mech and shield mech, which also has a sword. We don't find that out now, but it has a sword.
Yeah, there's shield mech, which is the Mercurius.
Yeah.
And we will see more of its shield tech later.
Its shield tech is really cool, actually.
And you can tell which mech Dr. J worked on because it's the one with the big fuck off cannon.
Yes.
Because that is all Dr. J knows how to do.
Dr. J and also one of the other doctors is like specializes in fire control systems specifically.
Oh, yeah.
The it's Troas. It's the the heavy arms guy.
Yeah. And they, because notably, they explain, the differences, and that's when Lady On asks which one will win.
Yeah, she's like, okay, so if that one shot this one, which one would win?
And then
they're like, we don't know. And then Hero's like, I'm gonna test that shit.
Yeah, Hero's like, allow me to demonstrate.
Yeah, because suddenly the gun one, no, they mentioned these are not done. The gun one's like 50% done, and the shield one's like 80% done. And then suddenly it lights up in a very, now witness the power of this fully armed and operational mobile suit.
Yeah. And then, Hero...
And then instead of shoot Lady On, which might have actually been far more productive here, he could have, saved the colonies with his giant gun, but instead he shoots the other mech, which activates its shield, and it turns out the shield wins.
Because Troa, immediately seeing the gun start to track around, runs to the Mercurius
and activates the shield.
And then it flexes...
Yeah, it does a very, it's funny because it doesn't have to do this later, to use the shield. But it, strongman flexes and deploys the shield in front of it. It, activates its ultimate. It looks like an Overwatch character, activating their ultimate.
Yeah.
It's very silly.
Yeah. It pops its ult and deflects the blast, and then the power of the blast causes because notably, the Vee, the one with the gun...
Yeah, when they say 50% complete, they completed the top half of it. It doesn't have legs yet.
Yeah, and so it's dangling from a couple of, guy wires.
Yeah. Because we just like hanging things from stuff in this show. I mean, it looks cool. Whatever.
Yeah, they'd probably do that if it was in, the Smithsonian Aerospace
Museum.
Or
you could, it does look very museum. But also, it lets you crane it around to work on it. Yeah. It's not unreasonable.
It's not unreasonable, no. But, definitely those guy wires snap as soon as he fires
it falls.
Yeah.
And then Hero kind of falls out of it, and Troa jumps out of his mech and points a gun at him and is like, I've captured him.
And Hero's like, the fuck?
Yeah, Hero's like, the fuck? But very quickly for Hero, because Hero normally doesn't do well in these kinds of situations. No. Very clearly clicks together, Troa is infiltrating them. I should go along with this.
Yeah, he very briefly shows shock on his face, and he's like...
Well, and notably, I think the thing that gets him to go along with it is actually the fact that he sees Dr. J there. and that Dr. J is going along with it. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to follow Dr. Because
not just Dr. J, all the other doctors too.
But he specifically trusts Dr. J.
Yeah.
And we know that he takes orders from Dr. J.
Right. But what I'm getting at is he presumably sees Dr. J with all these other doctors.
Yeah.
Sees that there's 5 doctors, knows that there's 5 Gundams and 5 Gundam pilots, draws the lines, because we know he's smart enough to draw the lines here. And then he's like, Dr. J trusts him. Trust these guys who also trust him. Yeah. Presumably, one of them is the doctor who's in charge of him.
But because we know that the hero doesn't make good decisions for himself in situations like this.
Normally, and I he really would try to go out guns blazing.
The presence of Dr. J not telling him kill everyone, hero. Is what gets him to like
do what I did. Oh, notably when he shoots after he shoots the cannon and falls, one of the other doctors goes, "Quite the weapon you've built there, Doctor. You have there, Dr. J." And Dr. J's like, "Yes, he is quite the master, or it is quite the masterpiece, isn't it?"
Yeah, and they are not talking about the mobile suit.
No, it is pretty evident they're talking about Hiro Yu.
Yeah, I think I didn't actually check what other doctor it is. I think it might have been Troa's doctor and Dr. J who have that conversation.
Yeah. I think it is because I think it's the big bald doctor.
Maybe.
I think that's who Troa's doctor is.
Yeah, this is actually easy to look up.
Is he Dr. O? I think he's Dr. O.
No, he's Master O.
Oh, right.
Maybe he's... Dr. S is the one... Dr. S is prosthetic nose guy. That's Troa's guy.
Okay, that's Troa's guy. Okay.
Yeah, he's the heavy arms guy.
Right, the bald guy is Wu Fei's guy.
Correct. That's why he's Master O.
Right.
Because of course he is. He comes from Wuxia land. Yeah.
And then we have, Dr. J and his Dunkalicious beam cannons.
That's true. But yeah, it's a good scene. It's fun. Yep. And Hero's captured willingly, sort of.
Yeah.
And then Lady Anne is like, well, this is excellent. Good job, Troa.
Yeah. You're already proving me right.
You're the best pilot Oz has, with the exception of the other 2 who are better. Probably 2. In her opinion, anyway.
What 2 would those be?
Trez and Zex.
Zex is not a part of Oz anymore.
Does she know that?
I mean, that's why she sends the guys out to capture him later.
They don't know what they're about to capture yet, though.
They do. They know it's the tall geese. She literally sends Troa, orders him to go and capture the tall geese.
Right. But do they know it's Zex? Because I thought the whole point was they thought Zex was dead.
Remember who her, top tier, the only person who's above her in the military is? Think about who that is.
Yeah.
And who probably guarantees knows Zex escaped.
That doesn't make any of that scene make sense, though. Why even bother with it if they don't think Zex is dead?
I mean, they were supposed to think the tall geese was destroyed too, but clearly they don't.
Yeah. The show might not be very well written.
It's not. Chapter 21.
Anyway, Chapter 21.
So that's what it takes us to. Otherwise known as the breaking of Ketra Reberba Winter.
Yeah, it's called Ketra's sadness or something.
Yeah, Ketra's sorrow or something like that.
And you think that's gonna be about the fact that his neck blew up, and it's not.
No. So we start with a sweeping shot of a colony, or I think it's actually of the base. I don't think it's the colony. It's a sweeping shot of the military base.
Yeah.
It is the colony, because Ketra's Leo escape pod.
Yeah.
Is found, which is super lucky, and even luckier as we'll find out.
Well, it's so weird. I get that the guy sent him on a trajectory towards somebody who would pick him up, but the fact that it happens to be his colony is just random. That guy didn't know who he was.
Yeah, that guy's not this is Ketra Reberba Winter, the heir to the Reberba Winter family.
I should send him to the Winter colony. No. And also this there is a line here about this colony. It's not part of the colonies or the Alliance or Oz, and what? It's a space colony. What are you talking about? It's clearly a space colony.
It's really weird.
how. But it's like in neutral territory, and it's like what?
Well,
what
she says specifically territory? It's in the neutral zone, or it's a neutral zone not ruled by Oz or the Alliance. I'm like, but the
one, I didn't think the Alliance ruled anything anymore. Two,
yeah,
I didn't think Oz ruled anything yet. Like outside of Earth. It's very
again,
weird.
This is not the best written.
And also, the idea of territory, none of the colonies are territory, because they explicitly, as we found, aren't a nation, right? Like, so, they're all independent. That's the point. It's so weird. It's so weird.
Anyway, Ketra's found. Hospital lady, who we will find out who she is later. Turns out to be important later.
Turned out to be important, but yeah, she says, like, don't injure yourself.
And Katra gets a little angry and then kind of calms down. And then we cut to Lady Un and company tracking an unidentified target that might be the tall geese.
But do they assess that based on how fast it is?
Yeah, they assess it based on how fast it is. They're like, the speed projections track with this being the tall geese.
Which also, they're in space. That doesn't make any sense. But you can go however fast you want. That's like, what? That could be a rock. What?
Yeah, anyway... Either way, they've decided it's the tall geese. Troa is tasked with destroying tall geese, or capturing it.
Yeah.
And she says, take the 2 suits to go do it. And someone's like, well, who should pilot the other suit? And Troa's like, I have a suggestion.
Wait, Troa's like, if you give me another guy who sucks, he's just gonna get in the way.
Yeah.
And Lady Un is like, I've caught on to your scheme. Let's have a hero do it. And it's very like, she truly thinks she is in control of this situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Because she's thinking in her head, oh, wait, the Gundam pilot we've captured and Zex don't like each other and have fought and went out of their way to hold an honor duel in the fucking Arctic.
Right. So she truly thinks that she is the master of this situation, and she truly is played for the rube at every opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Troa plays Lady Un like a harp.
Yeah, no, she just absolutely is taken advantage of in every way. Mm-hmm. It's actually great.
And so you would think that Hito would be sent out in the Mercurius, what with the giant beam cannon.
Yeah, you would.
And his familiarity with such weaponry, but he is not.
No.
It is Troa who is in the... Bay 8, yeah.
Because Lady Un tells Troa, like, if he doesn't stick to the mission, kill him. And it's like, well, if that's the plan... Surely you would give him the one that demonstrably was the superior of the two.
Yeah.
Not the one that has explicitly been shown to be unable to kill the other.
Yeah. And that was when they weren't even complete.
Right, like... so that's weird. Maybe they've made modifications to make that... No, they haven't. No. But it...
As we're about to find out, Mercurius is overpowered as shit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, we haven't talked about this shield system yet, because it's made of funnels. Like, this show doesn't have funnels, but this mech has funnels. But they don't go around attacking things. They form this, like, shield.
They form a particle shield or something like that.
They say it's like an electromagnetic shield that deflects beams, which implies that it doesn't deflect ballistics. I think that might come up later, actually.
Except I think when it comes up later, it's that it deflects ballistics too.
Oh, all right.
But we'll see. We'll see, and we'll remark greatly upon it and give them enormous amounts of shit.
Yeah, we sure will. But anyway,
until then,
yeah. But yeah, they're gonna go out, and again, Lady Un has another conversation with Troa, where she really thinks she understands this guy, right? She's like,
she thinks Troa's a kindred spirit.
Yeah, she's like, aren't you awesome? You're just as evil as me. We can make evil babies together. Like,
well, not quite that far. She doesn't go that far, but
she doesn't say that. But that's how she acts. Like, they're gonna be evil best friends.
Yeah, they'll be evil best friends.
In a lot of ways, I think it's like, oh, Trace has sent me up to the colonies and I don't get to hang out with him anymore. I need another evil friend.
Yeah, like, basically. So as they're flying out to go catch the tall geese, they notably have a bunch of mobile dolls with them.
Yes, they have a bunch of mobile dolls with them, which they just start casually killing.
Well, rather, Hiro starts casually killing them. He kills like one or two, and then Troa's like, dude, stop.
Well, he's like, don't kill too many of them, because it'll look like I am not their guy.
Yeah, because then I will have to kill you, or I will out myself.
He actually, it's important. Troa's dialogue is very deliberate for this entire sequence, because he doesn't ever say anything that could be interpreted over the radio as him not being loyal, right? He says, don't destroy too many, or I'll have to, like, kill you. Which still kind of sounds like he's loyal.
Yeah, you're right. And
because he's threatening Hiro, technically.
Yeah. And, it'll be he will continue to talk this way.
Yeah.
Because notably, they then catch up with Zex and send the mobile dolls first.
They do.
And
send the mobile dolls
first. At first I'm like, oh, okay, they'll send the mobile dolls in. Zex will clown on the mobile dolls.
No.
Because notably, Hiro, when he's clowning on the mobile dolls himself, goes, these things ain't nothing. I actually have a harder time with Space Mine.
Well, this is actually important because he mentions that the mobile dolls, despite being like AI run, are still using like human pilotable frames. So they still have like the capabilities that are limited to what a human could do.
Right.
Right? Like presumably your Gundam has all kinds of fail-safes for like not letting you like liquefy yourself with a high G turn.
Right.
Right. And these mobile dolls are still limited by those systems. Yeah. Right? They don't do things that a human couldn't do.
Yeah, because they're locked into baseline specs, they can't exceed them.
Right. Because as we see, there's still a chair in there. Right? Like they've still been, these suits have been built for a human and converted to AI control. They are not dedicated AI controlled frames.
That have a like big bright glowy light on the outside that tells you they are in kill mode.
They're in kill mode, that's correct. But yeah, so they send them into kill mode and they send them to fight the Toggies. And then what follows is a great sequence because Zex kills a couple. And then, or Miliardo, I guess, kills a couple. He's Miliardo now. We shouldn't dead name him.
Again.
Yeah. And then Hiro goes in, and they proceed to fight. They have like they have a little bit of gun duel and then a sword fight. And every time they clash, Troa shoots at them with the giant beam cannon. They split, so the beam cannon goes between them, and it kills 3 mobile dolls.
Yeah, like, and Troa does this until all the mobile dolls are dead.
Troa keeps doing this. Like, they put on a show for Oz, and it's really great.
Yeah, it is, like, this is like, oh yeah, Troa is, like, playing 5D chess right now.
Troa is absolutely, he is clearly lining these shots up, because he knows that the 2 people in front of him are good enough that he's never going to hit. Right. Just shooting the mobile dolls, but he's making it look like he's shooting at them.
Yeah.
And this is also where we find out that the shield one can shield other people with its shield.
Yeah, because notably Zex is like, oh, I better get rid of that cannon.
Yeah, and fires his big cannon at it, and just, the shield just blocks for Troa. It's great.
Yeah.
This is a really cool fight. This is a really cool fight.
This
is maybe one of the best fights that this show has had.
It's really solid.
Because you can tell what's going on. It's between 3 characters who are doing a thing, each with their own unique capabilities in their mech, and also there's like a plot thing going on. It's just good. It's a good fight.
So notably, there's like a beam saber buckler that the Mercurius is armed with, as well as like a tiny dinky little machine pistol.
Yeah, it does have like a little machine pistol, which is fun.
Yeah,
I don't know, you gotta give it some kind of range.
Yeah.
Well, maybe just put guns on the funnels, but maybe that would be a little too much OG Gundam. But anyway, and then eventually, once all the mobile dolls are dead, Miliardo just kind of gives up. It's just kind of like, you got me. Take me in, I guess.
Well, I think because he's convinced to surrender because then he sees Hiro kills the last 2 mobile dolls himself.
Yes.
He just flies up next to them and kind of looks over them and just slashes them really quick.
Slashes them real quick.
Oops, my hand slipped.
Right. And he's like, oh, these guys, something is up here and I want to know what it is.
Well, and then so then he goes...
Well, I think he also recognizes that these pilots must be
Gundam pilots. Well,
because no one else is good.
Well, and then he notably, this is an important conversation, because then he talks to Troa and goes, I wasn't expecting to run into you up here.
Well, they get out of their suits and like look at each other, like they're in space suits, but they pop out of their little chest cockpits, right? And he's like, oh, that's weird. I wasn't expecting to see you here. And Troa is immediately like, I have no idea who you are.
You are under arrest.
Yeah, you are under arrest, Zex Marquis. He really says, like, I am Lieutenant Troa Barton, Oz. You are under arrest. And Zex immediately picks up what's going on and
also kind of looks up over his shoulder and sees Hiro standing on the shoulder of the thing, like, try it.
Yeah, and Zex immediately, like, catches onto the con and is like...
I surrender.
I got it. Y'all have something going on. Let's do this.
It's really funny.
It's so good.
How much of a brilliant performance these three have put on for Lady Un. Because they bring Zex in and Lady Un's like, excellent work. I couldn't have wished for a better showing, and like, how are the new mobile suits? Well, they're quite powerful and blah blah blah. It's like, and she's like, good. Everything is going splendidly.
Right. It's like, you lost 20 moves ago and you just don't know it yet.
You now have 3 Gundam pilots with intact Gundam equivalent mechs. All on your station.
Sure do. And you keep putting them in the Gundam.
And notably, at least one of these Gundam pilots has engineered numerous prison breaks.
Yeah, and another one you think is one of your loyal officers.
And not only that, you have the friggin' engineering team that also broke out of jail and shut the generator to your base down. All on the same space station.
Oh, you have... This space station, which notably is like the control center for all your space operations.
Yeah.
Like it is very Star Trek. It is very bring the dangerous individual to the bridge.
Yeah. And, so then we cut to the next plot. There's not really...
Yeah, so that's like the beginning of the episode.
That's like the B plot, weirdly enough.
It's the best part of the episode. It's the B plot, and it's over pretty quick. Because what happens next is some stuff.
We have an exposition blurb first, covering Ketra's family.
Yes.
And why... Which had been hinted that they were quite powerful.
Yeah, it turns out Ketra's dad is like the industry magnate of this colony.
Yeah.
He basically set up the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's the most powerful guy around. And crucially, he's really nice. He's
a big pacifist.
Yeah, he's not one of these
pacifist.
but more than that, he's not one of these hoard all the wealth billionaires.
Yeah, right.
He has basically set up this major industry thing, and his family just almost gives the resources away.
Yeah,
he is a dedicated, we are building a colony in a harsh environment, and we all have to work together guy.
Well, and also he shares it not just with their colony but with other colonies too. That's mentioned.
Right, which I'm not sure how that works given that they're not supposed to be able to.
Yeah, I don't know either. But apparently, those industrial zones can move independently of the colony.
Okay.
Remember,
they do. Maybe he means in the before times when all the colonies worked together. I don't know.
Who knows?
During the brief reign of Hero.
Anyway,
different Hero.
Yeah. Anyhow, so the doc brings Ketra home.
Yeah.
Ketra's dad immediately starts negging him, but not without good reason. He brings up some very good points.
He lays into him. They both make some good points here, right? Because Ketra's dad is like, what are you going to do? War begets more war.
And
this
Ketra's
is bad.
like, well, that's why we have to fight.
Ketra's like, somebody has to fight. You can't just let the bad guys get away with stuff.
Well, Ketra says, someone has to fight, otherwise how will the war stop?
Right.
And then his dad goes, is the war stopped?
Is the war stopped? It doesn't look like it. And they're both correct. They're both of them are right.
Yeah.
Two different perspectives on how to achieve a better society.
And then we find out at the same time that Ketra does that the doc,
the nurse or doctor or whoever is his sister.
Yeah.
Which he has apparently never met. Well, we find out later why he's never met any of his sisters, but apparently he has many sisters and hasn't met any of them.
Yeah, they're all stationed on the resource satellite.
They're also all older than him, and he's the heir. So apparently, Ketcher's dad not big into women inheriting.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah. Well, we don't really get a chance to get Ketra's
we find out that, like, each of Ketra's sisters, like, runs one of these, like, resource satellite things.
Well, either runs or...
has been sent to.
Yeah.
Like, does something.
Because, like, Dr. Lady maybe runs that hospital.
Right.
But
it's possible there are more, but Ketra says, I thought all my sisters had been sent off to the resource collectors. Which, again, is like, so this man kept having daughters that he sent off to the mines until he had a son who was a worthy heir. That's what happened here.
Yes,
like, that's exactly what this guy did.
Well, and we won't get the chance to get much more on his opinions about women for reasons that will come up.
Right?
shortly.
Yeah, he's not quite a woofei. He just,
Well, we won't know if he's quite a woofei or not.
That's true. He might be a woofei.
Who knows?
He seems to care for his daughters. He just doesn't let them inherit. It's kind of a problem.
And anyhow, Ketra and his father have some ideological differences. Notably, this is all set while there's some turmoil in Winter Colony.
Yeah, so Oz wants to take over Winter Colony, which I just assume is its name.
And they astroturf Ketra's dad, essentially.
Yeah, they get the public on the side of Oz, like, against the great philanthropist. It's
they
kind of
convince
funny.
Everyone that the great philanthropist is a cool dictator.
And Ketra is, like, baffled by this. He's like, we literally give everything away. Ketra's dad is baffled by it. He's like,
because
what do you mean I'm a dictator? Yeah. I literally don't make you do it. I just give you stuff. What the fuck?
The only thing I've ever done is said that my factories that I own will not produce military
equipment for us. That's the only dictate I've ever had, and it's not.
And
they're mine.
They're mine. and then they're like, well, we're kicking you out, and he goes, well, I'm taking my ball and going home.
Yeah,
then.
He's basically. They're like, we are. Well, not nationalizing because they're not a nation, but we are colonializing your factories so that they can produce weapons for Oz, so that we can join Oz. And he's like, no, then I will take my ball and go. They are mine.
He literally takes his ball and goes.
He takes his asteroid and leaves. He gets on his asteroid and he disconnects it from the colony and he fires up the thrusters and is like, then I'm leaving.
And then the Oz guy goes...
Well, and the colonists are very specific about, like, this will ruin our colony, right? Yeah. Like, we need this thing to survive, right? Mm-hmm. He is dooming us by leaving. Which, I mean, screw them. They're assholes.
Yeah. It's like, well,
maybe your new Oz friends can help you.
Yeah, maybe they can build their own... asteroid.
Yeah, their own resource asteroid. Unclear what he mines from this asteroid that's so crucial, but who cares? But yeah, and then their response is like, we can't let him leave with the asteroid. Shoot it.
A lot.
Yeah, turn our newly manufactured... They have these Oz weapons already, because this is the thing Ketra's dad is mad about, is that they've installed all these guns on the colony.
Guns and missile batteries and all sorts of
shit. Yeah. It's been militarized. Yeah. And they turn them on his asteroid thing. And there's two, like, votes. Because Oz keeps having people vote, and they keep unanimously voting, like, screw Ketra's dad.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And Ketra and his sister go out in a shuttle to stop their dad from leaving.
The votes are very interesting too, because they never vote on like, should we blow up Mr. Winter, right? No. They vote on the vote is couched as like, should we let Mr. Winter leave with all our prosperity? And everyone votes no. And then the Oz guy is like, that means shoot him.
Yeah. Like, the Oz guy goes, excellent. Fire the cannons.
Yeah, basically, right. And yeah, Ketra and his sister go out this shuttle and try to convince their dad, like, don't do this.
They're gonna shoot you down. don't do this.
Well, they're gonna shoot you down. This will doom everyone. Like this is not the way to solve this problem.
And Ketra's dad's like, couldn't you have this conversation like not in between me and the things
and
that
the missiles? Yeah.
Yeah.
But also he's like, no, what I'm doing is right. I refuse to compromise, and I'll be a martyr. That's okay. Like I don't love being the richest guy ever enough to compromise my morals, which, God, if any person like that actually existed, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And then they fire the cannons and it blows Ketra's dad up. Like, that's what happens. And presumably also their ultra vital resource asteroid. So they still don't have that.
Well,
they don't this is the weird part here is they don't send out the mobile suits to capture it or something, because there's one guy on it.
Well, notably, I don't know if they.
I guess they still have the asteroid. They just don't have the stuff that was built on it.
Yeah, because they shoot all the part. Because Ketra's dad is in this big red bridge.
He does. He has It looks like the command ball thing from 2001: A Space Odyssey, right? And the red is very HAL too. It's just very it looks like the Odyssey.
A lot of tubes that might be thrusters
or smokestacks. It's unclear what that. Well, no, because they're the things that were connected to the colony. They're the things that they're right. A tram
access
connector, access tube, whatevers.
That explains it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, he tries to take his ball, go home, and then does not.
Well, I mean, he expects, I think, that they're going to shoot him.
Yeah. No.
He's not under any illusions that he's going to manage to leave.
He makes it very clear to Ketra and
they're going to kill me, and that's the point. Yeah. I am doing this to make them kill me.
Yeah.
Right? One, because I don't want to compromise my morals, right? I get to die clean. Yeah. Right? But also because that will suck for them. Right? Yeah. To make them kill me is the point. Right? Which came up earlier as well, where somebody didn't do this.
Right.
Could have made Oz show their colors by fighting them and gave up instead.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna make
Dr. J.
Yeah, it was Dr. J. But yeah, he's like, I'm gonna make everyone see what Oz is, because I'm gonna make them pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And he dies. And then also Ketra's sister, falls over.
Well, because Ketra falls out of his chair, because he's standing in his chair shouting,
Father, no!
Yeah, and then they get jostled. He goes flying.
The blast wave hits them or whatever. Their shuttle gets jostled. They go flying.
He goes flying. His sister unstraps herself and flings herself to try and interpose herself between him and the bulkhead, and gets crushed between him and the bulkhead.
Which is weird because he doesn't look that heavy.
No.
But okay.
And he also has a big backpack on.
Maybe it's very heavy. I don't know. Regardless, she dies, is injured.
I don't think it's unclear.
She is damaged and has last words with him before falling to unconsciousness. It is unclear if she will regain consciousness later.
Or even if she shows up later.
Or even if she continues to exist.
Yes.
But Ketra
becomes Ketra.
Yeah, Ketra becomes Dark Ketra. He lets out the most maniacal laugh. I mean, clearly, I think what's going on with him is his dad represented peace, and his dad did the peace thing, and is dead for it. So clearly his ideology was superior, and now it's time to fight.
Well,
right?
It's not just that. I think that's part of it. Right, because I think there's a mix of things going on.
Well, and also he's mentally broken by the fact that his dad just died. Right,
but also the fact that the colony that was on their side for so long and that they did so much for just flipped that.
Flipped instantly on them, and he's like, I'm going to take my vengeance on all of you. Right.
Yeah, because he literally says, I won't forget this, in a pretty ominous tone.
Yeah, it's we do not forgive, we do not forget.
The winners will always win in the end.
Yeah. But yeah. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, and so that with that, we also end the episode of Mecha Rewatch.
We sure do.
We'll catch you again next week with episode 22 and 23. We shall see.
Which are presumably more about Evil Ketra, but who knows?
Who knows?
We might just leave that for a Wu-Fei episode, because these episodes are like that sometimes.
Yeah.
We might not come back to that plot line for, like, weeks.
Yeah, who knows? Might not be until after the recap episode.
That is one of the... Yeah. Some parts of the show are really good. Some parts are really not.
Yeah. It is very hit or miss with the show. Anyhow, until next time, peace.
See ya.